What's going on, people? I'm Old Spy, and oh boy, it's finally time to give Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin the Night Souls treatment. So, if you have been around for any of the Night Souls series, you're pretty familiar with what to expect. And if not, I'll explain real quickly. It's a very straightforward, very upfront playthrough. I try to be as spoiler free as possible. With Dark Souls 2, that might be a little more difficult. I mean, I'll leave quite a bit on the table, but Dark Souls 2 is similar to the Bloodborne playthrough, in where to actually experience the game, you kind of have to go all over the place. So I will still try to stay true to the spoiler free aspect. Only going to go for what we need, and that is knightly equipment. And yeah, that's about it, man. Let's just get started. Take the brightness up a touch, just so everybody can see. Everything else looks good.
Perhaps you've seen it. Maybe in a dream, a murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. You will lose everything. Once branded, the symbol of the curse, an augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drang Lake. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why. Drawn to a flame. Your wings will burn in anguish. Time after time. is your fate. The fate of the cursed.
All right. Now, I do want to start this off by saying that Dark Souls 2 in its original form was my biggest gaming disappointment of all time. Now, all the reasons are pretty clear. If you were around back then you already know what I'm talking about, but Dark Souls 2 in its original form, the graphics were terrible. The game was weird in that the gameplay was off because we didn't know about a lot of mechanics that they had put in, and it was just not a good experience. I actually quit playing that game just a little bit into it. I just didn't like it at all. Enter Scholar of the First Sin. They made a ton of improvements, and this actually becomes one of, if not my favorite playthrough as far as a playthrough of a Souls games goes. It's not my favorite Souls game, and I don't think it's the best by any means, but it becomes a really good playthrough once it gets going. So let's just go ahead and get started. That will be the only piece of lore / cutscene that we get involved in. Outside of, for this game, 2 NPC quests we will be following because I need their gear. So we're going to follow a couple of NPC quests. But other than that, that cutscene was going to be just about it. Slide over here, pick up the rusted coin, which is a item discovery item. Don't attack any of these things in here because they will ruin your day. So just leave them be. Alright, again, we're going to head into this house. There's a lot of stuff in here, a lot of lore, a lot of intro. We're going to skip through it. We're going to get our character created, and we're going to get going. So don't get mad. As usual, we are the Nameless Knight. Except for in Dark Souls 2, we have to be all one word. Yep, we know our name. Alright, create a character. Which was also a complaint back in the day that kind of broke the tradition of all the other Dark Souls games, where you create your character, then start. This one, for whatever reason, they had you wander in as a zombie and then create your character. I find that if you go with the skinniest build, the armors tend to look the best, so that's what we're gonna do. Switch that up. And we're gonna make sure there's no hair to get it to mess with our armors. So that looks good. It's a little bit of a different look for this one, but whatever. It's Dark Souls 2.
All people come here for the same reason. To break the curse.
Yep, we're gonna break the curse. Alright. The trophies will be, you'll actually get to see where the trophies come from for the most part, even though we're not 100% and everything, because this is on a screen name that I've never played this game on, so head back out this way. And of course, you can see we started off as the knight. This is the least knightliest start you will get in a Souls game here. With not only the equipment, but then you get the classic broadsword, which I absolutely despise. I hate the broadsword. But we're going to use it for a little bit. Alright, coming up this way, we got this guy here. He's really easy. Definitely want to watch out for that move. Now stay behind him. And you can steer him, so whatever side you're on, he's going to go the opposite way. So if he starts getting close to a wall or something, just get on the other side. Really easy. And we're going to get our first ring. Which we now have 4 ring slots, which is really nice. Let's see. Stone ring will reduce enemy poise as you hit them. We're going to use it for a little bit. We won't use it for that long, but I guess it's useful starting off. I never really noticed much of a difference. Drop down, small, smooth, and silky stone. That will be put to use here in just a second. Alright, back through here. Not quite sure why I rested there. Come on. Torch and Soul of the Undead. Now this is your little tutorial area, so if you want to take your time and go through here, you can. We're going to do one little section just to kick down the ladder, and then we're going to move through. But feel free, if this is your first foray into this game, feel free to explore this area thoroughly. Light the torches, read the signs, whatever you want to do. Weird place. Alright. Just gonna kill these guys. Now I will say one thing about Dark Souls 2. In my opinion, it definitely has the slowest start of any of the Souls games. Just seems like it takes a little while to get out of the awkward stage to get to where, even though some people will argue that the whole game is awkward, you know, to get out of that stage where you feel like you're just starting off and to where you feel like you're kind of hitting your stride and in your build and all that stuff. I feel like this beginning part for Dark Souls 2 takes a while. Alright, so there's your small, smooth, and silky stone. Leave it here in the nest, and you'll get an item. Divine Blessing, which can be useful. Now, instead of taking the ladder, we'll drop down here. Get a soul item, which is always good. And for us, you can go that way. There's nothing over there that we need, and I'll be demonstrating all the mechanics as we play, so nothing really for us to worry about, so we're going to head on out. Majula. I do love Majula. Alright, come over here. Drop down again. We got some items, Morning Star and the Cleric's Chime. We actually might use the Morning Star. I think that fits the description, so we might use that. Definitely won't use the Cleric's Charm. So as you're walking up here, you see her standing over there. First thing you'll probably want to do is light the bonfire. Actually, we'll go ahead and rest at the bonfire, just to get us locked in over here. Alright, so this is home base right here. And I don't know, I really like this place because I feel like out of all the areas in the Souls games, I feel like this is the one place where you can find like some kind of genuine hope. That's just how I feel. Alright. Definitely the first thing you want to do is talk to her. Now, she is extremely long-winded, but she will basically set up what your adventure is going to be, or at least what she wants your adventure to be.
Are you or them?
We're going to blow through it. We do get the Estus flask there, which is important.
Therefore, you seek them. There's
See, she talks forever. Leveling up, pretty straightforward here. Vigor is your HP, endurance is your stamina, vitality is your equipment load. Now they also, in this game, they do a lot of other things. So if you look in the middle there under your attributes, you can see anything highlighted with the light gray will be affected by your points put into the different areas. Attunement is your spells. We're not going to be using any of that. Strength and dex, same as usual, governs your attack damage and your scaling for different weapons. Now adaptability is something that's a little bit different, and adaptability will raise your, if you look in the center column second to the bottom, it will raise your adaptability, raises your agility. And what that does is it improves your rolls, gives you more iframes on your rolls, and I believe it also speeds up your Estus swigs. So yeah, that was something that nobody really knew about when this game came out way back when, but now we do, so we're going to make sure that we pay attention to adaptability. Right now, I'm going to put 1 point into endurance, and we're going to move on. And I'm also going to cover up my bald head because it's kind of windy out here. Let's also go ahead and put our Estus flask on. You can see we only get one use, so we'll have to build that up by finding flask shards, which we'll actually get one here in just a second. Alright, here's our crestfallen warrior from all the other games.
You have it.
And when you exhaust his dialogue, he'll ask you to join the Covenant. I would say yes. And you don't even really have to stay in it, but you get that blue seal right there.
People let.
This was actually a multiplayer based Covenant, which allowed people to come in to protect you. It's kind of weird, but either way, we're not online, so we don't have to worry about it. However, you take a look at the red square up there, you can see we get a boost to our HP from this ring. We'll throw it on. It'll be useful early on. Soul item, life gems. And this guy is going to be our smith.
Who are
Now he needs us to unlock this door, which we'll get the key here in a little bit. Alright. Another life gem. Now there are a few things over in this area that we'll go ahead and grab off the bat. Homeward bone up there. Alright, coming around down here real quick. But one thing we can notice is that we don't have a shield. Just kind of odd for a night class to not have a shield. Now we can buy one early on if we have enough souls. Or we can get one right here. Crimson Parma. Not that great of a shield. You can see on the right column over there in the equipment status, up at the top, it only does 75% damage reduction. So it's not that great, but it is a shield if you're looking for one. Let's head out of here. Alright, the cat in here.
Oh, just not exactly. Oh, so. Ooh.
Alright, so she sells some items, some useful rings. Silver Cat and the Ring of Whispers we'll be picking up later on. And some useful items, Homeward Bones, always useful, and the Alluring Skulls will also help us out a little bit later. You can manage covenants through her as well.
Nothing suited you, I presume. Well, that's just.
Come over here. Smack that down the well. And we get an Estus Flask shard, so we can upgrade 2 uses on our flask. That one's locked. And in here we have our merchant. It's going to sell us some armor. Grab a Titanite shard.
I could.
Alright, so he's got some variety of shields. The Silver Eagle Kite shield is probably the most useful there. And he'll sell a variety of armor. And the more souls you spend with him, he'll start to upgrade his stock, and he'll move around too. He'll sit here first and then he'll kick back over here. So we'll check all that out as we go through. Alright, so that's Majula in a nutshell. We'll be adding more NPCs back to here as we go, which is another cool thing that I really love about it. This actually gets pretty filled up if you follow enough of the NPCs. But anyway, that's going to wrap up the first episode. We will get started in earnest when we come back next time.